You cannot get mad at what you created. Welcome back to Sis Woke Up. This is the channel all about women who want to empower themselves. Hell, anybody that really wants to empower themselves. And we're talking all things spiritual, all things self-improvement, okay? This is the series just in time for Mother's Day. Your mom was your biggest hater, okay? This is probably going to be the most important video in this 3-part series because sabotage, if you watched the last video, was the most compelling, the most forward in the highest level of hate that someone can give you, especially a mother. And that's the thing about narcissistic parents, narcissistic mothers and fathers. The thing is, they're mad at you, they're angry at you for things that they did not teach you, for things that they inflicted upon you. You know, they're mad that, you know, you're a product of the environment. I wanted to say raising that they did, but I mean, they probably barely did that. So we're talking all about sabotage, especially the mother-daughter sabotage. Of course, we're going to get more into fathers and sons, but I'll just touch on that here and there. This channel is, I mean, it's clearly called Sis Woke Up. So let's just get into it, okay? Number 1, emotional manipulation, okay? So this starts from a very early age, okay? The silent treatment, the guilt tripping, the emotional blackmail. And it's like you're yearning for this love. You're yearning for this normal relationship that you see, you know, your friends go through with their moms and, you know, that you see on TV and that you see in movies. And it's like, okay, these people are supposed to be close. What's going on over here? You know what I mean? So it's going to be a lot of guilt tripping, right? A lot of, you know, you're just their emotional cushion. Sometimes even their emotional punching bag, right? So once you recognize that, you really do, that is kind of like a very tricky thing to unwork, right? Because all the points I'm going to talk about today, they all tie into how you go into your relationships, especially how you go into your friendships with other women, with other men. A lot of people, when they see a woman that she's just so pretty, she's just X, Y, and Z, why can't she keep a man? A lot of people say, oh, she must have daddy issues. A lot of times, no, it's actually mommy issues because the woman that was supposed to teach her to be a woman failed her, okay? So things like, oh, after everything I've done for you, after everything I do, this is what you... No one asked to be here. And a lot of parents are just going to have to understand that spiritually, once you have a child, that child is your responsibility. 100%, period. Until the day either you or they go, that child is your responsibility spiritually. You know, in the world we say 18 years, right? But if you're a spiritual person, you know it's a lifelong thing. You know that that child is an extension of you, especially if you are a mother, okay? That child is your extension. So spiritually, I'm going to get into this into a video. I actually had an epiphany to make a video on this later. Can't wait to get a lot of videos out to you guys. But when you are a mother or a parent especially, you really have to be careful what you do. I'm going to say that again. You have to be careful what you do. Because sometimes if someone wants to mess with you, they'll just, you know, do some work on your kid. And I know you don't want to hear that, but that's why if you have kids, you have to especially be careful because it can skip you and, you know, go to the next person in your bloodline. You know what I mean? Okay, next point we're going to get into is competing with the daughter. My goodness. Where do we begin on this? Okay, these are usually mothers that feel threatened by their daughter's youth, beauty, and success. I'm going to do a totally different video on this. This might be the 3rd part in the series, and I'll be releasing it on Mother's Day. But Mothers who are threatened by their daughter's beauty, youth, and success is crazy, because a lot of times we watch shows like The Housewives, we watch those women on reality TV, and a lot of them, they're just very into their daughter's lives and very, just everyone says, oh, you're living through your daughter, right? I would rather have that than have someone who's intimidated by my youth, by my beauty, by my success. Because those mothers, looking back, I'm like, wait, that is how a mother should be. Someone who encourages you to be the most beautiful, someone who encourages you to be more successful than them, right? But when a mother is threatened by her daughter, the daughter already kind of looks like her, right? So the mother can do anything to sabotage that, right? She can make sure her daughter gains a lot of weight, right? She can make sure that her daughter, if you saw the first video, which prompted me to do this series, you can see that her daughter, she wants her daughter to stink. I know it sounds crazy, right? But it happened. Something like that happened to me too. Or if her daughter is successful in relationships, she'll sabotage that, behind her daughter's back. Go talk to the guy, especially if it's a guy that she sees, oh, this guy could be good for her and he could take her away from me, and now I don't have my emotional punching bag or my emotional cushion. So you really, really, really have to be careful of that. Something else I touched on in the last video is undermining the accomplishments instead of celebrating them, right? So, like, for instance, I'll just say personal experiences, right? Personally, when I graduated from college, my mother said something. She was like, I think she was talking to one of my siblings, and that's triangulation. We'll talk about that in a later video. But talking to one of my other siblings, like, oh yeah, she just went to a college that, anybody can just go get a degree from. And it's like, why not celebrate me? You know that it took a while for me to get here. All the hard work, everything that it took. Or maybe she doesn't, but it took a lot to get this degree, and when I finally get it and I walk that stage, that's what you have to say instead of celebrating me and making a post about it. And so that's just something you have to watch out for. Next, kind of ties into this, criticizing your appearances or your choices. Always nitpicking your looks. Why are you wearing makeup? Why are you making that close? Why did you do that? Why did you go there? You're getting big. And it might not even be like that. A lot of people do go through that where it's very, very, very direct, right? But some people, it'll be very covert, right? It'll be like, oh, you need to use this acne lotion, or you don't even know that you have acne. You don't even know what acne is, but it's just a lot of nitpicking and trying to fix you instead of highlighting the beauty in you. It's always something is wrong instead of trying to highlight the beauty, and you know what I mean? So that can really, really weigh a lot on someone's self-esteem over time, right? It can really, really put a wedge into your self-esteem until you have to figure out, okay, that thing is actually beautiful. Or, okay, maybe I did have acne, but okay, this is what I'm going to use. Or, you know what I mean? A kid should not be worried about acne and all this other stuff. It shouldn't be the main focus, always nitpicking them. There's a difference between constructive criticism and there's a difference between just flat out nitpicking, okay? Next, we're just going to get into projection of unfulfilled dreams, okay? So again, when your parents are looking at you, they're literally looking at themselves. You look like them, you walk like them, you talk like them, you sound like them, you have the same everything about them, right? So she might make you do something that she wishes she had done, right? So this isn't too much sabotaging because it might be something good. But the bad part about that is it kind of undermines your identity. And it's like, okay, I know that's what you want, but what about me? This is who I am, right? Don't try to shape me into somebody that I'm not. Mold me into who I am. Okay, so you really do have to watch out for that. If that is something you're dealing with, my biggest advice is the sooner you can stop that, the better. Because getting to know yourself takes time, and you're going to get to know yourself in stages, and you're always going to be changing as a person. So you have to reinvent yourself and relearn yourself and reteach yourself to people around you. So that's something that you also have to be careful of. Don't just do what she wants to do, or what you think she would want for you, or what you think she wants, right? You got to watch out for that. Like I said earlier, I'm going to do a whole video on this. Favoritism or comparison, always comparing you to your siblings, your cousins, or even herself at that age, right? Because this is what breeds insecurity and resentment. And the reason I say that is because she's going to be, comparing you to people within arm's reach, right? It might be another sibling, it might be a family friend, it might be a cousin. Let's say you wanted to become a lawyer, and let's just say it's taking you a while to go to school, or your path is a little bit longer than others. She might say things like, oh, well, such and such's daughter is a lawyer, and it was so easy for her, and she just really nasty things like that. So when you have something like that you have to be around, my greatest advice for you is to just ignore it. Just be like, oh, okay. Like, just don't say anything. Just, oh, okay. That's good for her. Good for them. Oh, that's great. To the point where it will start becoming natural. It doesn't even sound forced, and eventually it might stop, You got to be careful with that. Now, when they start comparing you to people that are closer, like your siblings, now that can be really annoying. And usually they won't do that in your face, but that does create triangulation. It creates a lot of chaos, okay? And spiritually, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, because siblings we love our parents, we do, but they're only half of us, right? Now, when you have a sibling, and I'm just speaking spiritually here, okay? Just don't get offended. But when you have a sibling that is the same mom, same dad, you are the closest, genetics-wise and spiritual-wise. You guys have grown up together. You guys have experienced things the same. You guys were each other's first friends, right? It's like you can't get rid of them, right? You can get rid of your friends. You can just block a friend, but a sibling is different. It's very, very different. So when you start causing chaos between siblings, you have to be very careful with that spiritually. You have to. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you have to. Because once you do something like that, you're opening yourself up for anything to attack you spiritually, honestly. Let's get into the next point. Sabotaging romantic and social relationships. I kind of touched on this a little bit, but what they'll do is discourage healthy relationships out of jealousy, control, or fear of losing influence of you, right? So again, you can bring somebody that you love very much. This person clearly cares about you. And this parent is like, they've done so much to you. They've spread so much gossip about you. They've done so many bad things about you and that they've said about you, to their friends, to other family members, to your siblings. And, in their mind, it's sick, but in their mind, it's like, nobody would ever want this person. Nobody would ever want her, right? And then let's say you're unbeknownst to you, you don't even know that, your mother is feeling this way. You bring a nice person around them and say, hey, this is this person, and they can clearly tell that this person genuinely cares for you. They will do everything. My biggest advice, don't even bring the person around them. If it's a healthy relationship, they care for you, they take care of you, it's clearly real love, it's not anything forced, don't bring them around your mom if she's a hater. Please do not. And if you have to bring that person around her or around your family members or whoever, I highly, highly suggest don't stay, like let's say it's a family reunion. Don't stay at the reunion or the birthday party or whatever for too long. Give it like a 45-minute time limit and make sure the number one thing you do is you do not get up from that table. Do not leave that table, because your family, your mom, whoever, they will try to manipulate that person, gaslight that person, lie to that person. Oh, did you know that when she was in, the 8th grade, such and such happened to her? And did you know that once upon a time she did X, Y, and Z, and she was with this person and they didn't want her? I'm surprised you're even here. Be careful, and that's very awkward for someone to come back to you and say, hey, your family kind of said this about me. No, they're going to start thinking like, well, is this really what I want? If their own family is saying this, y'all better watch out for that. You better watch out. But if it's a bad relationship, if it's something that is toxic, right? Someone that belittles you, someone that clearly can't stand you, oh, they will go to the ends of the earth to, make sure you get into that type of relationship. So you really have to watch out for it. I am going to talk about relationships because that's a big part of life. I understand that, but if you have not healed from your mother wound trauma, your father wound trauma, family trauma, childhood whatever, I highly suggest therapy, watching videos like this, healing before you step into another relationship, because you'll be surprised. Why are you surprised that you're with somebody who gaslights you? You're with someone who lies on you. You're with somebody who sabotages you, right? Manipulates you, hurts you, when you are a product of a household who did the same thing, right? All right, so let's get into some more things. Financial control or withholding support. So sometimes your mom, she'll see and she knows that you are a young woman, you're growing, you're, trying to elevate in life, you have goals and dreams and things like that. She'll use money, right, or resources as a leverage, right, so that you can be dependent on her, because that dependency on her is like control, right? So she'll use money, as just dangle it over your head. She knows that you need somewhere to stay. She knows that you need money for X, Y, and Z. And the way, the tone that she'll speak to you is very condescending, because when someone has financial control over you, they can be very condescending, very, very condescending, because they just feel like you need this. And because you need this, you need me. So what I would say is try your hardest. Please try your hardest to get as independent as possible. For example, I don't know who's watching this video. I don't really know my analytics yet, like age-wise and things. So I'm just going to speak in general terms. If you are in high school to college years, right? Like 18 to 24, 25. Start with paying your own phone bill, right? Because you don't want someone, once they get mad one day, they'll turn your phone off. Or they'll say that your phone got cut off or they didn't have the money. No, they had the money. Maybe they saw that you were talking late at night on the phone or something, and you must be talking to a guy, right? or maybe just something weird like that. Or let's say that they pay for your school, which I highly doubt, but I'm just using it as an example. Let's say they pay for your college, and you know that your parent is a manipulator or a narcissist. Start looking for scholarships. Start looking for scholarships. Don't just sit on your hands and always be on edge. Oh my gosh, are they going to cut off my bill? Are they going to do X, Y, and Z? And another thing, they're not going to help you. They're going to openly help other people and not you, but that's another story for another day. Let's get into dismissiveness of achievements or emotions. I've talked about this a little bit on this channel, but let's get into it. They'll belittle your feelings or minimize your success with things like, that's not a big deal, or anybody can do that. Like I said, even mine. I graduated from college, first one in my family to do so. Oh, that school just accepts anybody. Oh, You have to watch for that. Do not let that get to you. You have to be like a duck with water rolling off. If you don't know what that means, it just means that ducks, when water gets on their back, it just rolls off, right? They're hydrophobic or something like that, or whatever it's called. Watch a video of a duck with water rolling off of it. It literally just rolls off, okay? That's how you have to be when they try to belittle your success, because your success is your success. Only you, okay? Only you know how many sleepless nights it took to get that degree. Only you know how hard you have to work to get that car. Only you know how many shifts, how much overtime you had to work to get your apartment, right? To buy the couch in your apartment. So don't let nobody say, oh, this is a dingy couch, or, oh, you're in a ghetto part of a town. You're in a ghetto neighborhood. Nobody want to live there anyways. Don't let people, I'm just going to say people in general, don't let people tear you down that way, because that can start to mess with your spirit, and that can start to change the way you think, and that can really derail you off of your path, okay? Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, so next is gaslighting or denying past behaviors. Gaslighting, oh my gosh. I hate a gaslighter, because sometimes, especially when it's someone close to you, like your mother, you believe them, right? Because you've always believed them. You've always done what they asked or expected of you, right? But once they start gaslighting and denying their past behaviors, like, oh, I never said that, I never did that, or just denying things, those are the ones you have to watch for, because you start thinking like, did that happen? Did they say that? You really have to watch that, because that it can trickle into your daily life. People can do you wrong at work, and you're like, oh, it's okay. Oh, no one will believe me anyways. You'll start thinking like that instead of standing up and sticking up for yourself, right? So you really have to watch the gaslighting, all right? And all in all, you guys, if you want me to make a part 2 of this, I definitely can. But all in all, you have to watch out for this. You have to know the signs. I gave you a couple signs here. You have to know the signs. If they line up, I highly suggest work on your root chakra. If you're into that, work on your root chakra and work on your sacral chakra, okay? Or your heart chakra. Definitely the heart chakra. Work on that, because that is what is going to reset you almost, okay? It's going to reset you. It's going to make you more stable in a lot of ways, and it's just going to help you out, okay? Another thing you need to know, right? I do encourage therapy. I think I've said that like 3 times in this video. Also setting boundaries. And the thing about boundaries, you guys, when you set boundaries are not just limited to one person. Boundaries are limited to everybody. So don't say, oh, well, this person is my mom, this person is my dad, or this person is my brother. So, they can talk crazy to me, but people at work or people in my relationships can't talk to me crazy. My friends can talk to me crazy. No, nobody can talk to you crazy. Those boundaries are for everyone. Okay? And once you recognize these unhealthy patterns, you need to take action. And whether that action is no reaction, or whether that action is confronting them and saying, hey, what do you mean by that? Or, why would you say something like that? Okay? There's always a way to go about things, right? And you need to understand that it is not your fault. None of this is your fault. You were the victim in this. You were the child in this, okay? You were the one that was supposed to be protected in this. You are not imagining things, right? And find other resources for healing, for support. Find other resources. You might find it in friends, right? But be careful with that. I say be careful. I say just go to therapy because it's very unbiased, or it's the most unbiased advice you could get. But if you have a friend that you can open up to that has actually been through the same thing and is actually trying and seeking help, then you're lucky. And I would say definitely resonate with them. Okay? But I do hope that you all enjoy this video. I know it was a longer podcast, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot of information about it. I might make this a 4-part series if I have time, but it's looking like just 3 at the moment. But in the meantime, let me know if you guys have any other video ideas for me, or any questions or comments or anything like that of the sort. But yeah, this was fun to make. I'm going to make some more videos. Videos are dropping daily. Go ahead and subscribe to me. Like this video. Share this channel. Comment down below what you want to see, what you want to hear. It could be anything pertaining to spirituality, or just getting yourself back and better. Okay? This is Sis Woke Up. I'm so glad you're awake. Now let's get to work. Bye.